You know that feeling, right? You're just walking down a street you've walked 100 times. Maybe your mind is somewhere else, and boom, your foot just catches on a tiny crack. For that split second, you're off balance. Now, usually it's no big deal, but near a busy road, that moment goes from embarrassing to, well, incredibly dangerous. So today, we're going to dive deep into this often overlooked world of pedestrian stumbles.
And really, this gets to the heart of it. We're not talking about those huge, dramatic collisions you see on the news. No, we're looking at something much smaller, much more common. It's all about how that simple, everyday misstep, just inches from traffic, can turn into something genuinely life-threatening.
So where does a risk like this even start? Well, it's almost never with something big and obvious. The real danger, it also begins with these small, unexpected hazards that, honestly, we probably walk past every single day without a second thought.
We all tend to focus on the big collisions, right? But what the research shows is that the threat often kicks off with something super minor. And look, the really terrifying part of stumbling near a road, it's not just about hitting the pavement. It's the horrifying possibility of falling directly into the path of a car. Think about it from the driver's perspective. Someone suddenly lurching off a curb is the absolute last thing they'd ever expect to see.
Okay, so this begs a really important question. Why do we even lose our footing in the first place? Is it just one clumsy mistake? Well, as it turns out, the answer is a little more complicated than that. Yeah, there's this fantastic phrase I came across, a conspiracy of small things. I love that. A stumble is almost never because of just one thing. It's more like a perfect storm, where a bunch of little, seemingly harmless issues all come together at the exact wrong moment.
So to get our heads around this, we can basically break down the causes into 4 main buckets. First, there's the stuff around you. That's environmental. Then, there's how you're acting. That's behavioral. You've also got your own body, the physical stuff. And finally, the specific circumstances you find yourself in. That's situational. Let's dig into each of these.
All right, first up, environmental factors, the stuff that's all around us. And look, we're not just talking about giant, obvious potholes here. A lot of the time, the real culprits are way more subtle. It's that half-inch lift in the pavement that your brain just doesn't register as a real threat. Or, tree roots that create this sneaky little bump. And poor lighting? Oh yeah, that's a big one. It messes with your depth perception, and suddenly a small crack is basically invisible, right until your foot finds it.
Next up, we've got behavioral factors. And this one's all about us and our habits. The most obvious culprit today? Yep, looking down at our phones. But it goes deeper. Ever heard of cognitive tunneling? It's what happens when you're listening to music. Your brain gets so laser-focused on the audio that it starts filtering out your awareness of what's happening around you, including the path right in front of you. And yeah, of course, just rushing around or wearing shoes with absolutely no grip can turn a simple walk into a dangerous dash.
And then you layer on the physical and situational factors. This could be anything really, from maybe having some vision or balance issues to just being flat out tired, which we all know dulls your coordination. Even something as simple as carrying a bunch of bulky bags can throw off your center of gravity and block your view. And it goes without saying, but any kind of impairment from alcohol or drugs just demolishes your balance and judgment, making you incredibly vulnerable.
Okay, so we've got a pretty good idea of why we fall. But what happens next? Because a simple trip can have some seriously severe and sometimes truly life-altering consequences that go way, way beyond just a scraped knee.
I mean, when you fall, the impact can be just brutal. What's your first instinct? To put your hands out, right? That's why wrist fractures are so common. But it's not just broken bones. You're looking at painful sprains, dislocations, stuff that can take weeks or even months to heal properly. And from there, the danger just escalates so fast. We're talking head injuries, from concussions all the way to traumatic brain injuries, and of course, the worst-case scenario, devastating spinal injuries.
And what's really critical to understand is how the consequences of a fall change so dramatically with age. For a younger person, a fall might just be a bruise, and you bounce back pretty quick. But for an older adult, because of things like lower bone density, that exact same fall can easily mean a fractured hip. And that means major surgery, a long, difficult recovery, and the risk of all sorts of other health complications.
But the damage isn't just physical. Oh no, it creates this whole ripple effect. After a bad fall, a person can develop this intense fear of falling again. And what is that fear deal? It often leads to inactivity. You move less. But when you move less, your muscles and your balance get weaker, which, and here's the crazy part, actually increases your risk of falling again. It becomes this awful, vicious cycle that can strip away someone's independence and lead to real social isolation.
Okay, so knowing the risks is step one. That's huge. But now,
let's talk solutions. Let's build your personal safety playbook. Because this isn't about being afraid. It's about being smart and prepared with real, practical steps you can actually take.
Taking control really starts with building some good habits. First, it's about awareness. Put the phone away, limit those distractions, and actually watch where you're going. Scan the path ahead of you. Then it's about preparation. Wear smart shoes with good grip, and maybe wear brighter clothes so you're more visible. And finally, it comes down to physical readiness, working to maintain your balance and strength even with just simple exercises.
And we can apply this same thinking to tricky situations. When the weather's bad, ice, rain, snow, just slow down, take smaller steps. See a handrail on stairs? Use it. That's literally what it's there for. If you're carrying a lot, a backpack is way safer than a bunch of bags because it keeps your hands free for balance. And here's a fantastic tip. If you see a hazard, like a big crack in the sidewalk, report it. You could literally be preventing someone else from getting seriously hurt.
Now, being personally responsible is a huge piece of the puzzle, for sure, but it's only one piece. To have truly safe streets, we have to think bigger. We have to look at the community level, and even at the role technology can play.
A truly safe environment is one that's designed to be safe from the ground up. That means things like regular maintenance, fixing the cracks and potholes before they cause a fall. It means having good lighting on all paths, not just the main drags. And it means designing for everyone, with things like curb cuts for strollers and wheelchairs, or that bumpy tactile paving that helps guide people with vision impairments.
And looking ahead, it's not just about concrete and asphalt anymore. Technology is opening up this incredible new frontier for pedestrian safety, making our surroundings way smarter and much more responsive. And this isn't science fiction, we're already seeing it happen. Things like smart lighting that gets brighter as you get closer, smartwatches that can actually detect a hard fall and call for help automatically. I mean, think about the potential for smart sidewalks with sensors that can report their own cracks. That's amazing. And we already have mobile apps that let us crowdsource a live map of hazards in our communities. So after everything we've talked about, from the psychology of a simple distraction to the future of smart cities, it really all comes back to you, doesn't it? Knowing what you know now, does it change how you see your own everyday walk? What's the one small change you might make starting today to take a safer step?
Please like, subscribe, and get notified.